8.4b. So we did multiplication, right? And multiplication, we factored, found our restrictions, and then started slashing things away until we couldn't anymore and got our answer, okay? Division is very, very similar. The only thing is this little statement right here. I'm trying to think if I did this first semester with you. Did I ever say this to you? When dividing fractions, don't be shy, flip the second guy and multiply. Never said that to you? Okay. I'll say it to you now. Can't remember what we did in first semester, if we touched this at all or not. If you had me for geometry, I said it to you. If you had me that semester, I said it to you. And I don't know if you had Mr. Samuelson, he might have said it to you. Basically, when you divide fractions, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction, right? So if I want to do 2/5 divided by 3/10, it's the same as saying, flip this second guy, and instead of dividing, now we're going to multiply, okay? So just remember that. When dividing fractions, don't be shy, flip the second guy and multiply. So much rhyming, right? How can you forget the rhyming? So that's what we're going to be doing today. Is basically we're going to be taking these fractions and in dividing them, we're going to flip and multiply, which means really nothing changes other than your restrictions, okay? Now you have this new element to what your restrictions can be because we're flipping, okay? So here's how this is going to work. Let me show you. Our problem starts like this. I highly recommend that you just take a copy of the first one, okay, and then multiply, and now you're going to flip the second one, okay? This is really the only thing that's different and how we state our restrictions. So flip it over. This is 3x minus 12 on top and x plus 5 on bottom. Okay. We're going to start the same way. We're going to factor what can be factored, and then we're going to figure out what our restrictions are. So take a look at that first one. Okay, this guy right here. I'm going to do that down below. So if I factor that, basically we're saying what can I multiply to get a negative 15 that I can add to get 2? What would that be? 5 and negative 3. So it's x plus 5, x minus 3. Okay. Now move to this guy. X squared minus 16 becomes what? That's a difference of squares, right? How do you do difference of squares?
X plus 8. No. X plus
4, yeah. X plus 4, x minus 4, right? We square root both. One is plus, one is minus. Okay. Times. Now we take this guy. What do you do with 3x minus 12? Pull out the 3. Factor out a 3, you're left with x minus 4. And then on bottom, we just have something we can't do anything with. Whoops. X plus 5. Okay. Restrictions. Here's the deal. The way we have it set up right now, we have as restrictions, x cannot be what numbers? Negative 4, 4, and negative 5, okay? Now here's the deal. When we started the problem, this was on bottom, which means this was a denominator, right? We have to call that a restriction as well. Now in this one, it's nice because it's a number we already wrote down. So if you forgot to do it, it wouldn't penalize you, right? But there's plenty of them where it won't be the same number and you need to make sure you state that restriction. So when stating restrictions, here's where you have to look with division, okay? When it is division, you need to look at, I'm gonna do it from where we went, all of this and this entire right side. Okay, your restrictions have to come from all of that information. So basically the only one you're not stating restrictions on is that first numerator. Everything else creates your restrictions, okay? So x cannot be -4, x cannot be 4, x cannot be 5, and then we got to figure out what is our answer. So that's Mr. Bexford. Do you guys know Mr. Bexford? He just wished all the math department a happy Tuesday. He's the best. He's wearing 2 pairs of glasses today. I love him. And 2 ties. And has 2 pens in his pocket. Oh, you guys really missed out not getting to know him. He's a gem. Okay. I mean, those of you that don't know him. He used to teach here, by the way. Okay. Going back. X plus 5 and x plus 5 are going to go away, right? X minus 4 and x minus 4 are going to go away. So we are left with 3 times x minus 3 over x plus 4. So this is your answer with these restrictions. Questions on that? It's really not that much more difficult, right? It's just a matter of remembering to take the right restrictions and to flip that second fraction setup. Okay, I'm gonna do one more with you, and then I'm gonna have you try the last one, and we're done. Here we go. Let's flip first. I'm gonna take a copy of this one. So here's our start. What operation's happening next? Are we dividing? Multiply, right? Flip it and multiply. So it's going to be x squared minus 64 on top and x plus 8 on bottom. And now you can do all of your factoring. So what can I multiply to get 16 that I can add to get 10? I'll let you catch up a minute. 8 and 2, right? So you're going to go x plus 8 times x plus 2 on top. Okay, then over here, what can I multiply to get negative 16 that I can add to get negative 6? Nope.
Negative 8 and 2.
Yep, negative 8 and positive 2. So that's x minus 8, x plus 2 times, what can I do with x squared minus 64?
It will be x minus 8 and then x plus 8.
X minus 8, x plus 8, right? We're just square rooting both because it's a difference of squares. And then on bottom, you still have that x plus 8. Okay, restrictions. What are you using to find your restrictions? The bottom half of the first one, the entire second one, right, is where your restrictions are going to come from. So we're going to say x does not equal, what would this be? Positive 8, this. Negative 2, this. Negative 8, and these. 8 and negative 8, which we already have, right? Worked out lovely again. Okay, so there's your restrictions. There is actually a lot of overlap of them because if you think about it, we're trying to slash things away, right? And usually there's something that will. So it works out quite nicely. So if we do x plus 8 here, there's an x plus 8 here on bottom, x plus 2 with x plus 2, and x minus 8 with x minus 8. So you're just left with x plus 8 as your answer with those restrictions. Questions on that? Okay, then I want you to try number 3 on your own. Feel free to chat it up with a neighbor if you're working through some things. I'm going to come around and help you out where help is needed, and then we will do it together. What did you get? Y? Y over 5? Anybody else get that?
Oh, that's.
Did you get any restrictions?
Yes.
What'd you get?
7 and -7.
7 and -7. Anyone get another one?
0.
0. Okay, here it is. Let's work this out. So this becomes, actually, rewrite. By the way, I don't need you to rewrite it, but I think it's a very good idea to rewrite it. But some of you do very well in your head for a lot of that. I do need to see your work. I need to see the factored form. So even if you don't do this part where you rewrite it, that's fine, but I need to see how you got what you got. So make sure you're showing me what you're doing. Okay, so this is your setup, right? We're gonna multiply this, which means factor up here is gonna be y plus 7 times y minus 7, right? Difference of squares is always take the square root of both. One is plus, one is minus. Y minus 7 squared, it's tempting to call that y squared minus 49, but that's not y squared minus 49. It's y minus 7 times y minus 7, right? Okay, go across, factor out a y on that. So if I take a y out, I'm left with y minus 7. And then on bottom, factor a 5 out, and I'm left with y plus 5. Okay, what? You're not talking to me?
Isn't that 7?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, y plus 7, yes. No, you're good. I'm taking 5s out and not leaving 7s in. Okay, so you're here. Now's where you can state your restrictions. And your restrictions have to come from all of this and the denominator of that one. So you say y cannot equal 7, you don't need to write that again, -7, +7, and a y by itself is always just going to be a 0 because 0 times anything will still be 0, right? So this is your restrictions. Now we can start slashing. So we have a y plus 7 divided by y plus 7, that's 1. Y minus 7 divided by y minus 7, that's 1. Y minus 7 divided by y minus 7, that is 1. All you're left with is y divided by 5. And that's your answer. Okay, any questions on that?